You get the title, you get the bigger team, the larger budget, the harder decisions. Then the new contract arrives, and your base salary has moved by 3%, or, in some versions of this story, 0. The title is real, the workload is real, the responsibilities are real, the raise is not. This is the phantom promotion. But here's the important part. Not every promotion without a meaningful raise is a phantom promotion. There are actually 3 very different situations that can look almost identical. The first is a genuine stretch assignment, a temporary opportunity to prove yourself before the company makes a permanent decision. The second is an honest, delayed promotion, where the company gives you the role now with a clear plan to review your compensation at a specific date or milestone. And the third is the phantom promotion, where the workload becomes permanent, but the promise of matching pay somehow stays just over the horizon. The 3 situations can feel exactly the same on day 1. The difference only becomes obvious when you understand the incentives behind them. Today we're doing corporate anthropology. Let's decode what happened. 3 things we'll cover: how the transaction looks on a corporate budget, why smart professionals still accept it, and how to tell which of those 3 situations you're actually in. Let's start on the company side of the table. A mid to senior manager earns, say, a little over $100,000 a year. The company wants to keep this person. They're good at the job, they carry institutional knowledge, and replacing them externally can be expensive. For management roles, recruiter fees can reach a meaningful percentage of first-year salary, depending on the market and the search arrangement. Then add the time needed to hire, onboard, and rebuild the knowledge that just walked out of the door. So the finance team runs the numbers. Option 1. Give a real raise. Add 10 to 15% to base salary. But a 10% base increase can cost more than 10% in total. Bonuses, future merit increases, retirement contributions, and sometimes severance calculations may all build from the higher base. The exact impact varies by company and country, but the direction is consistent. Base salary compounds through the rest of the compensation structure. Option 2. Change the title. Cost: almost nothing. A title is cheap to issue. There may be a small adjustment, but compared with a full market correction, the budget impact can be minimal. 1 line changes in the contract. 1 box moves on the org chart. The cost structure barely notices. But the company isn't getting nothing in return. The title is being exchanged for something. What it's being exchanged for is expanded output. When a manager accepts a larger team, a bigger budget, more complex decisions, and broader accountability in exchange for a title and a modest or 0 salary movement, the company receives more management capacity at almost the same cost. That gap between the new responsibilities and the compensation is where the savings land. From a CFO's spreadsheet, it is an elegant transaction. Minimal investment, higher operational output, better cost per unit of management. You are the upside. The company keeps the difference. The more interesting question isn't why companies do this. The more interesting question is why experienced, intelligent professionals accept it. The answer lives in behavioral economics, specifically in how humans respond to status. We don't only measure ourselves by absolute income. We measure ourselves relative to the people around us, our peer group, our industry cohort, the people we went to school with. This drive for relative position is consistent across cultures, from London to Tokyo to Sao Paulo. A new title delivers immediate, visible status. Your peers see the announcement. People introduce you differently. You sit in different meetings. The dynamic shifts in ways that are subtle but real. For a few weeks, life genuinely feels like it changed, because in some ways, it did. And this is precisely when companies deploy the reframe they've gotten very good at. The budget is tight this cycle, but this title positions you well for a much bigger conversation next year. That sentence is doing a lot of work. What it actually says is, we're asking you to perform at the new level now. Take the expanded scope now and receive the matching compensation later, on a timeline that's unspecified, a promise that isn't in writing, and a condition that isn't tied to anything measurable. In finance terms, you're issuing an interest-free loan of your labor, collateralized by a verbal commitment that neither party can enforce. Most people don't process it in those terms. They hear it as a career investment, and sometimes it genuinely is. The title creates external market value. The expanded scope builds a track record. The key is to separate three situations that look similar from the outside. A genuine stretch assignment gives you temporary exposure, clear support, and a defined decision point. An honest delayed promotion gives you the role now, with a specific compensation review tied to a budget date or measurable milestone. A phantom promotion gives you the permanent workload and a promise that stays vague enough to move forever. The title is not the problem. The absence of terms is the problem. The assumption that the current employer will eventually close the gap, that's where the logic tends to quietly break down. The company already got what it wanted. Once you're operating at the new level and no longer a retention risk, the urgency to adjust your pay starts to fade. Not through bad faith, through organizational inertia. Budget cycles come and go, priorities shift. The conversation keeps getting deferred. The gap rarely closes on its own. If you enjoy this kind of calm business analysis, consider subscribing so you won't miss the next one. There's a third layer here, and it explains why phantom promotions aren't occasional exceptions. They're built into how large organizations manage headcount under pressure. Think about what happens when a senior director leaves a team. The straightforward option is to hire externally. But that can be slow, expensive, and uncertain. There may be recruiter fees, months of onboarding, and the risk that the new person never becomes as effective as the person who left. The far more efficient option, from a budget perspective, is to divide the departing director's scope across two internal managers, give both an elevated title, and frame the arrangement as an internal development opportunity. The team keeps running, payroll stays flat or drops, and something interesting happens almost automatically. When two people both carry elevated titles and informally understand they're competing for a role that hasn't been officially posted, they tend to work harder. Not because anyone told them to, because the structure creates urgency without requiring the company to say a single uncomfortable word. This isn't a conspiracy that HR teams discuss behind closed doors. It's the natural output of combining budget constraints with smart internal framing. But it does mean that what appears to be a functioning career ladder is, in many cases, operating as a cost management tool at the same time. A career milestone and a budget decision can look identical from the outside. The difference is which side of the table you're sitting on when you read the org chart. So what do you actually do? Don't reject the opportunity automatically, but don't accept a vague transaction as though the missing details will solve themselves. The higher leverage move is to turn the conversation from recognition into terms. 4 steps. Step 1. Clarify what you are accepting. Ask for the title, the scope, the reporting line, and the effective date in writing. If the arrangement is temporary, ask what makes it temporary. If it is permanent, the company should be willing to say so. Step 2. Define the conversion mechanism. Don't settle for, "We'll revisit this next year." Ask which budget cycle and which measurable conditions will trigger the compensation review. A real delayed promotion has a date, an owner, and a decision rule. A phantom promotion has none of the above. Step 3. Build evidence under the new scope. Run the larger team. Own the budget or P&L. Track outcomes, savings, and revenue you delivered. Make the value measurable and visible. You are building the internal case for conversion and the external case for market value at the same time. Step 4. Test the transaction at the agreed decision point. If the company converts the role and closes the gap, good. The arrangement was a real career investment. If the review date moves, the criteria change, or everyone suddenly forgets what was discussed, you have your answer. Take the title, the scope, and the evidence to the market. The external market is not the first move. It is the enforcement mechanism. The arbitrage is not leaving quickly. It is making sure somebody eventually pays for the level at which you are already performing. A title without a matching pay adjustment is not automatically exploitation. Sometimes it is a genuine test. Sometimes the budget timing is real and the company keeps its word. But the difference between a delayed promotion and a phantom promotion is simple. A delayed promotion has terms. A phantom promotion has compliments. The company keeps the cash, you keep the credentials. Your job is to document the transaction, build the evidence, and force a decision before the title loses its market value. Give the company the chance to convert ego currency into hard currency. If it refuses, convert it somewhere else. Ego currency has an expiry date. Hard currency does not. One quick note. This is my personal take. If you see things differently, trust your own view. I am here to share a perspective, not a verdict. Have you ever been handed a phantom promotion where the title grew, the scope grew, but the paycheck didn't move? How long before the math stopped making sense? Tell me in the comments. Next week, we are decoding another brand or economy. If that sounds interesting, I will see you then. Thanks for watching.